corruption at an official CrossFit semifinal event? Did Mad Fitness Festival cheat in order to get an all-Spain podium and send people from Spain to the games? Multiple incidents happened on the final day, the final 2 workouts, including Colin Clements doing 29 sandbag cleans in the second to last workout, taking second in that workout, finishing 4th overall. He's from Spain, only to have his score changed to 30 sandbag cleans later, give him 3 extra points, and put him ahead of Jona Koski and into the game, sending Jona home. When did Jona find out about that points change? He found out while he was taking the drug test after the final event. The whispers are going around, and I first heard about them yesterday at the airport, and I've reached out to them being everybody in the whole freaking planet, all the athletes involved, the festival. I've talked to people in the media, and I've tried to piece together a puzzle of what's happened. I've gone full Kale Layman mode. This is all I've been doing all day. If you found yourself on my channel multiple times, and whether you love me or hate me, I would love it if you left a comment and told me why you hate me. You can tell me why you love me too, but either way, do me a favor and look down below and see if you are subscribed. And if you aren't, please subscribe. It helps out a lot. Appreciate you guys. Thanks. Now, Brian Friend talked about it on his podcast this morning.
Outside, none of those people know what actually happened there. And based on all the conversations I've had with people there, they went through all the processes that you're supposed to go to. The line out of there is that they've checked all the boxes with CrossFit. They've checked all the boxes with athletes. They've checked all the boxes with their scoring team. And they feel confident in the work, fairness, and integrity of their program.
He basically comes to the conclusion that there's things going on behind the scenes that we don't know, and that I got the impression that he's saying that it's probably all fine. I don't think that it's probably all fine. In fact, I think it's probably all not fine. And I spent a ton of time working on this, and I'm going back and forth between it being nothing and it being something really freaking nefarious, and I'm starting to lean towards it not being nothing. Jona was knocked out of 3rd into 4th because of this crazy set of occurrences all happening in like the last few hours in a tight race between him and Colin Clements. You can see people questioning it online on Instagram and not getting answers. We did not get any explanation of it on the stream, even though weird things were sort of happening, almost as if every time they would mention that it appeared Jona had won or was going to win, if 5 minutes later they'd like back off and say, oh, we have no idea who won, like somebody was whispering in their ear. Jeez, I hope I'm not going to get whacked for doing this. The last time I thought I might get whacked was when I made a video about Malik, the Move Max guy where you eat a bunch of pizza and
I like eating.
Go walk for 47 miles every day. Isn't he from Spain too? We do not have video to confirm or reject certain things, and the video is only on 1 or 2 athletes at a time, or else we could count, we could see, we could know what's going on. So we kind of have to rely on talking to people and hearing what happened there. And here's what basically happened. On workouts 5 and 6, I think it's 5 and 6, but the final 2 workouts, Jona goes into workout 6, or the final workout, let's say, thinking that he is 11 points ahead, 428 to 417 over Clements for the final game spot, and he just has to essentially finish at worst 4th if Clements were to say win. Clements were to say does in fact win. Koski does finish 4th. Farlow gets in between them. Somebody else gets in between them from an earlier heat. They take 1st and 4th. So that would be, in Koski's mind, 100 to Clements points, 92 to Koski. Jona gets 520. Clements gets 517. Everything's over. Jona's going to the games. Clements is going home. However, 2 things occurred. As far as I can tell, right before the final heat was set to go, Clements' points changed from 417 to 420 from earlier in the day, and we can literally see the moment it happens. I found it on the leaderboard.
Barring any disasters, who is going to go to the games? Who is going to go to the games?
And it's right before the final heat, where Jona, I guess, would have been warming up and getting ready to go. So it makes sense that he didn't know that he lost until he was in drug testing, because they changed the points right as they're going into the final event. And we'll talk about that 3-point change because that's an even bigger deal than what I'm going to talk about now. But first, I have to talk about the final event. Did you guys know that Alex Kazan is headed back to the games after missing last year? She won NorCal again. Kazan Gummies, her own product line from HDR CBD. Go to hdrcbd.com. They've been a sponsor of mine for over a year. They make a quality product that athletes are allowed to take without getting popped for some sort of test that'll knock you out of the game season. hdrcbd.com. Now, on this workout, crazy situation that happens. Fabian Benito makes an appeal based on some ring muscle-ups that weren't locked out. So they give him back like 10 seconds. But not only do they give him back 10 seconds, that puts him and Yona at roughly a tie at like 3:35, I think, or something like that. And if you go to the leaderboard, he ends up winning by 0.44 seconds. So now one more person gets in between Yona and Clements. And now at this point, because of that, Clements moves ahead and into the game's qualifying spot. Now, let's pause here for 1 second because first off, why are we turning over range of motion reps? It's very strange. I've not seen range of motion reps, like locking out ring muscle ups, be appealed and then overturned and have time given back. I think I distinctly remember NorCal it was with Colton Mertens, where he was locking out perfectly and basically looking down at the judge and getting no rep, and there's just nothing you can do about it. In addition to that, in their own rule book, it says that the on-the-field call will stand, and it literally lists out range of motion as one of those situations. This never should have happened. Super interesting addition here because I talked to Fabian Benito and his team, and essentially what they said is that when he got down off the rings, he wasn't aware that he hadn't completed 20. There was a confusing interaction happening with the judge. He gets down thinking he got the 20. They have an interaction. He has to jump back up and do 4 more, essentially doing 24 ring muscle ups because he was getting no repped. And the crazy thing is, while he shouldn't have been given anything because it says that you're not granted range of motion reps back that are called on the floor, it looks like to me. Nonetheless, by giving him 10 seconds, they said, okay, we agree with you. We messed this up. We're going to give you your time back. But when you look at it, it's over 25 seconds that he lost. He would have been under 3 minutes and 20 seconds, won the workout, and knocked Clements out of the game's qualifying position. But they gave him just enough time to put him ahead of Koski and behind Clements, therefore solidifying Clements' spots in the games and making sure that Koski takes 4th and goes home. Which again, not saying it proves anything. I'm just saying it's another thing that makes it look really freaking weird. Now, what if it didn't happen? Now, here's what some people are talking about. They're saying, well, if it didn't happen, it still would have been a tie. And that's true. The way the points work are it's 3 points separating the top spots on a workout, and then it changes to 2 going down. So it's a little bit funky. But basically, if this didn't occur, then they would have been tied. Yona would have won the tiebreak with 2 first-place finishes to Clements, 1 first-place finish. However, it turns out that one extra sandbag clean that I talked about earlier, him going from 29 to 30 without any explanation as to what happened on the stream, put him in a tie for first place on that workout with Enola Kai. So now, in the situation of a tiebreak, he would have 2 first-place finishes, as would Yona Koski, and the next thing up would be the 3rd-place finish by Clements, and Koski has 2 fifth-place finishes, so Koski loses the tiebreaker, and people were like, oh, see, there's nothing going on. He would have lost the tiebreaker. But I'm not convinced because all this happened in the matter of a few hours. Nobody had any idea what was going on with the points because it was so close. And it almost seems as if every decision is being made in favor of Clements and against Koski in a very short period of time. It's almost as if they didn't really go through in their head all the tiebreak scenarios and they're just doing this, they're doing that, they're granting this, they're granting that. And one of them's going to stick and Koski's going to lose, and he did lose. Do I know that for sure? No, but that's what it seems like. It doesn't look good from the outside. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is the workout before it, which would have totally changed the results. The 29 sandbag cleans that we're talking about, I found out exactly what happened. Now, despite there being some rumors about there being a security camera floating around and, oh, he actually had this many reps, I am fairly certain from my source, and I have multiple sources, but one of them in particular, let's just say as close as you can get to the situation, let me know that the double unders were miscounted on that particular workout. He had to do extra double unders, and he was granted a sandbag clean that he never did. Work was granted that never occurred. Now, guess what happened to one of the top competitors from a different country who had the same appeal? That appeal was denied. They were given no extra sandbag cleans. And this person, if you go look at the stream, was getting to the rope at the same time as Clements. And they were getting off the rope at the same time or right after. This person appealed on the basis of having to do 52 double unders instead of 50 in 2 different rounds. So 4 extra double unders. And based on just looking at on the video where they started and where they finished on the double unders, it does not seem like Clements had to do that many extra reps. So anywhere from 4 or more reps, even if he did 8 reps, it doesn't matter. They gave him a sandbag clean, which gave him the workout, gave him 3 points, and gave him the win over Koski, and gave him the game spot, and gave them an all-Spain podium, and sent all Spain people to the game, Spanish people.
You're good, Spaniard, but you're not that good.
So what do we have here? We've got an all-Spain podium, 2 separate incidents that are just crazy, all happening within a very short period of time in the midst of chaos where nobody knows who's going to win. It's really close. Nobody's probably even thinking about the tiebreakers. One of them literally granting someone time for reps that were called no reps on the floor for their ring muscle ups, that going in Clements' advantage and against Koski. And on the workout before it, only apparently changing the score right before the final heat for all the marbles. You get a 3-point swing that won it for Clements when he's granted an extra sandbag clean for having to do extra double unders from his judge basically miscounting. All the while multiple people, from what I hear, but at least one person who's right in the mix there, had the same appeal and had it denied, despite it really seeming like they probably had to do about the same amount of extra double unders. I mean, we're not talking about Clements having to do 40 extra double unders here. And they just gave him a sandbag clean. He did 29 and they said he did 30. Something about that doesn't seem right. So how confident am I in my sources, and in particular one source? Well, pretty darn confident. Could I be wrong? Yeah, I could be wrong because I wasn't in the room and I haven't seen all the camera angles if they exist. And neither Clements nor Mad Fitness Festival has responded to my inquiries. And if I am wrong, that's okay. I've done the best that I can to get to the bottom of what happened. And right now, if this is true, it looks shady as all get out. And if I were Yona, I'd be pissed. And if I were HQ, I would definitely be investigating this. I wonder what Dave thinks about all of it.
I don't even care.
Washed.